Well, welcome to part 3. This is the one everybody's been waiting on. In part 2, we went over the wiring, installed the radio and intercom into the dash. This time we're putting in the helmet kit. We got Diana a new helmet here. Hers was kind of a little goofy looking, to be honest. We got her a new pretty one with some blue on it, so she'll blend in, match. This is the actual helmet kit that you get for the wired helmets. This is a waterproof, dirt-proof, once it's plugged in, naturally plugged, that goes to the comm wire that we ran from the dash behind the radio back to the seats. A couple speakers here. These have a nice 3M adhesive backing on them, but they're also velcroed, so you can kind of reposition it if need be. A flexible mic boom here with like a windsock over the microphone itself. This does have a front and back on it. That's something that you need to pay attention to. The back side of the microphone is completely flat, but the front side has a ridge right here you can feel with your finger. You can actually just remove this sock off of it as well, and the microphone is marked front and back on the red plastic in there. Then you got the pigtail here where the connections are made up under this little rubber boot. We have to secure this so that when you're plugging and unplugging this, you don't accidentally pull on all these wires and try to tug everything loose. So this needs to be securely mounted inside the helmet. Got a little Elmer's hot glue gun here, a couple zip ties. We should only need one, but you know how that goes. Some little snips just to cut them off. Got a alcohol pad here. I'm going to wipe the inside of the helmet down where I'm going to put the adhesive just to make sure it gives a good bond. And this is some little clay tool that Diana got out of her crafting supplies that I can use to push the wires down into the helmet. It's got a nice little rounded tip so it won't damage the wire, but it's low profile, thin, so you know, should work pretty good. Alright, I'm actually doing this outside. You can hear the birds chirping, the wind keeps kicking up and blowing my tablecloth everywhere, but trying to get you some light where you can see what I'm doing here. I got Diana monitoring my phone so she can make sure everything stays in the shot good. If you remember, when we ran the comm wires, I did it to the roll bars on each side of the vehicle, so when she's sitting in here, that wire is going to be coming in from her right shoulder. So we want to put this plug in the pigtail on the right side of this helmet. On mine, it's going to be on the opposite side. One of the first things we want to do is unsnap the little cheek pad, get it out of the way. Now we spent probably a couple of hours out here testing and fitting and double checking and triple checking to make sure all this stuff was going to be positioned exactly where we needed it. Didn't want to have to redo it. One of the first things we did was check the position of this microphone. Now what this is intended to do is, if you lay it down like that, as you hopefully can see, I know it's dark in there, it's all black and everything, but the microphone is not in the center of this helmet at this time. But when you bend it up so that it's right in front of your face, then it actually changes position, and now it is in the center of the helmet. So what we did is kind of got it in place and then used the cheek pad and snapped it in to hold this thing kind of steady, and then let her put the helmet on and then check the position of the microphone. This is actually supposed to be right in the center of your mouth and almost touching your lips. When you say certain letters or make certain sounds, your mouth should actually touch this microphone. They want it to, like, literally right in front of you. So just kind of check that and get it where you need it. And then we took a chalk pen and made a few little marks on the boom and on the helmet itself to see where everything would line up when we get ready to glue it down. And that is how you attach this, is with hot glue. I was a little surprised to learn that, but there are some people that recommend, drilling this helmet out or even putting clamps and screws in it. That's a terrible idea. Any modification to the structure of this helmet will void the warranty and could potentially, make it unsafe. So we're going to use Rugged's recommended method here. Apparently it works really well because a lot of people use this. So we're going to get this in place and start gluing it down. Alright, I'm going to get ready to go ahead and glue this microphone boom down. I'm trying to set off to the side a little bit so my shadow isn't completely blocking the shot here, but what they want you to do is simply come in here and lay down a good bead of hot glue right where you want the mic boom to be. I'm going to go just about to the end of both ends, but not all the way to the end. And then we simply just stick this down right where we want it, hold it in place, and let that glue set up. Alright, once that's set up pretty good, what they want you to do is come back and put a nice thick bead right on top. Let it kind of flow over both sides so that you get really good hold on this boom. Just let that stuff just run down both sides of the mic boom onto the helmet. And then when it gets warm enough or cool enough where I can actually touch it, I'm gonna just kind of flatten it out to make sure that the cheek pad will be able to snap back in place. While you're waiting on this glue to cool down, keep a hold of the microphone, because when you apply the additional layer, it could actually heat the bottom layer up enough to let this boom change position or slide out of place or even just roll over to the side. Just kind of keep a hold on it, but don't let it move, but also don't move it yourself. Don't wiggle it around, because you get to have voids inside where the glue is or weaken the bond. But after it cools down enough where it's still soft, but when you can touch it without getting it all over you, making a huge mess, just kind of come in and push down and flatten it out a little bit so that your cheek pad will have an easier time reconnecting with these snaps. Also note that each helmet's going to be different unless you have the exact make and model of this helmet. Your install will very likely be different. For instance, this one has 3 snaps. It holds on the cheek pads. On my helmet, it's only got 2, and also this hard plastic stuff here is actually attached to the cheek pad itself, and it comes out with it. So it's going to be completely different doing mine than it is this one. But in general, most of these helmets are all basically the same shape, so even if your install has to be a little different, it's still going to be similar. The glue is cooled down enough now where I can continue the installation. It's got the mic nice and secured. I'm going to find a place to put this little terminal where all the wires come together. On some helmets, you can see where the chin straps are actually attached to the shell of the helmet. There'd be like a loop or even a little ring terminal or ring right there where you could put a zip tie and tie this down to it. On this helmet, you can't actually get to that, but right below it, right here, is a pocket that goes all the way down to the actual outer shell. It'd be a good place to stuff this down in it. What I'm going to do is get this down in here, and then we'll take a zip tie and run it between the styrofoam here and the fabric and the outer shell, and come up around these wires and zip tie them right down to this part of the helmet. That'll keep it nice and secure. For my zip tie, I'm going to stick it between the shell and the styrofoam here and just feed it right through and catch it where it comes out under the chin strap. And hopefully you can see all this. I know this is not the best angle, but I do got to get in here where I can get to it. And I'm going to have the mic cord just kind of loop right around that button right there. And then this connector cord is going to slip right up under here like this, and then the speaker will go around and mount up here above the chin strap. But for right now, we just need to get that little connector secured. So I'm going to wrap this around, and then it's going over the end of the microphone boom here too, as you can see. But just kind of make sure all the wires are right where I want them, and then I'm going to really tighten it down good. Okay. Now see, if this gets pulled on, it's not going to pull any of this stuff loose. Alright, I got this all snug down good. I'm going to try to cut this little zip tie just as close as I can. Just be really careful not to snip anything on your helmet or any of the wires, naturally. Now with that cut, I'm going to took the little speaker and just kind of set it up in here. Where it needs to fit on this helmet is right in this curve against this padding. And that's pretty much right where it needs to be for her. Like I said, this is the boom wire. I'm going to let it just lay right around that snap. The speaker wire, I'm just going to loop it back down into this hole keep it out of the way. I do remember all this stuff is going to be under your cheek pad, so you shouldn't see it or feel it, either one. So once we get the wires where we kind of want them, then we'll go ahead and mount the speaker, and then put the cheek pad back in, and then run the wires down around to the other side to mount the other speaker. I'm going to go ahead and mount the right side speaker now. I went ahead and took my little alcohol prep pad and wiped both sides of the helmet down where I'm going to be putting the speaker on. So now we're going to just peel this backing off the adhesive and attach it to the shell of the helmet. Now keep in mind this is Velcroed on, so if you need a slight adjustment and placement for the speaker, you can do so. So just put it in there and press it down and hold it for a few seconds so it makes a good bond. Alright, what I'm actually going to do now is unvelcro the little speaker, move it out of the way, and then I'm going to reach in here and just really press down on this Velcro pad, make sure it's really well adhered to this plastic. When that's done, see the little speaker inside is actually removable from this little foam cover, so you can just kind of adjust it around wherever it needs to be, even rotate it around. There's no specific spot, so when that's where we want it, we'll go ahead and tack it back down, and then we can start running the wires. Now I got the little right side speaker mounted. I got the wire tucked down into this little pocket. Gonna kind of just get these up and out of the way for now. This is the mic boom wire I got it looped around here. I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this cheek pad, get all this stuff covered up so we can continue running the wires. Now these snaps are going to be a little more difficult to get down, but if you get enough pressure and get it lined up, it will snap back into place. Gotta get this wire centered around this snap. Pop it in, and finally this one. Alright, now that nice thick padding, well, you'll never even know all the wires are under there. And you can see the little speaker is right where the cutout is for your ear. And we'll check our microphone one more time, see if we can bend it up. It'll be right about where her mouth is, right in front of it. This is adjustable, of course, so it can move up and down and back and forth. Also, this cheek pad, after it sits for a while, it will kind of, over time, mold itself around all that underneath, and should never have to worry about it coming off. What we're going to do now is just tuck these wires right between these two, so you won't feel them. Now this one, we're going to pull through and actually slip between the styrofoam and the outer shell of the helmet and bring it around to mount the other speaker. This one will just remain here that we use to plug in for the comms. I'm running the wire around the back of the helmet for the left side speaker. I kind of already got it started right here. What I'm going to do is work backwards in this direction and insert it down into the helmet to get this all tucked away, and then I'll work my way all the way around. This is where they recommend you put it between the outer styrofoam shell and the fiberglass shell of the helmet itself. Just go down right between the two. Use something that is not going to have any chance of damaging the wire. This little rounded tip isn't going to hurt the wire, but it makes it a little more difficult because it's a round tip and a round wire. But Rugged actually used the rounded end of a crescent wrench. I want to do theirs. I saw somebody using a flathead screwdriver. That's not one of the better tools, because as we know, screwdrivers can cut into wires. So we'll get this tucked down, and then we'll just continue walking this all the way around to the other side. I got the wire ran all the way around and tucked in nicely. Went in between these two pieces here. You have to excuse all the ambient sounds. That's part of the hazards of recording outside, between the birds and the crows and airplanes, helicopters, wind, you name it. But anyway, I snapped this cheek pad back in place and stuck the little speaker down in here so I could see kind of where it needed to be. And then what I'll do is just kind of hold it in place while I pop this back loose and get a look at where it is. And then I'll pull the adhesive backing off and stick it right back down in the same spot. And we'll reattach the little speaker. And then the extra wire, I'm just going to tuck it in and coil it up and put it down here in this little pocket. Same place where the connector was on the other side. Like so. And then we'll get the cheek pad in. Snap it down. Alright, there's a little speaker down in there. One on this side, a little microphone boom that can be folded up or out of the way. Got the pigtail hanging. Nice clean install. And she's ready for some communications. Alright, welcome back to the second half of part 3. We have got both helmet kits installed. I've got one in mine, which you're hopefully hearing right now. Hannah's wearing Mommy's helmet. She's over there. We've been talking back and forth through the intercom. So we can talk to each other without the push-to-talks at all. It just like we were inside in the living room. I mean, even when we're blasting down the road, we can hear each other just fine. And if we want to talk to whoever's on the other end right now, Diana's over at the house with a handheld. I can hit my push-to-talk down here on the gear shift and speak to her. Say hey to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Say hey, Hannah.
Hey.
See, she can talk to me without even pushing the button, but if she pushes the button, then she can talk to her mommy. Go ahead.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Hannah.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. With other people in the group having these, obviously it'll be much easier to communicate, saying, hey, we're about to take this next left, or hold up, you know, somebody's got a flat, or just about ran off the side of the mountain, we need to stop. Really going to add a lot to our videos, because now you won't just be hearing a one-sided conversation just from me. You'll actually be able to hear whoever I'm talking to respond. So that's going to be pretty nice. This has been a test of the rugged radio broadcast system. This is only a test. If it had been an actual emergency, then I don't know, we'd have been talking about something else. But anyway, yeah, this is very exciting. It's working great. Can't wait to try this out in April when we go to Hatfield. Definitely going to make our videos more engaging, and look for part 4, which will actually be a review of how all this worked out there on the trails. So we will see you then.
Bye, everybody.
Say bye to everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you on the trails.
Thanks for watching.